My brother and the next youth, I travel back our material truck because up the same building house. So when they come down now, the material truck pass before the police pass the material truck and ground upon the axle. Him the person want to call him and tell him say, yo, see some police are coming there. You understand? The man, them get the car and I say, man, everything good. We know what I mean? We don't have no reason for run from the police. By the time police
Two men shot dead by police in Westmoreland. Westmoreland, Jamaica. Two men were reportedly shot and killed by the police in Spring Garden, Westmoreland on Wednesday afternoon. The deceased men have been identified by relatives as 25-year-old Romario Dawkins and Dean Ward, both from the community. According to Zone 4 Commander for Little London and Negril Deputy Superintendent of the Police Sean J. Mitchell, the men died in a confrontation with lawmen. According to reports, there was a police operation in the area sometime around 12:30 p.m. and the operation resulted in a confrontation. During the melee, two men were shot and taken to the hospital where they were pronounced dead. Mitchell said 2 firearms were recovered from the incident and the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, has commenced an investigation into the matter.
My brother and the next youth, I travel back our material truck because up the same building house. So when they come down now, the material truck pass before the police pass the material truck and ground upon the axle. Him the person want to call him and tell him say, yo, see some police are coming there. You understand? The man, them get the car and I say, man, everything good. We know what I mean? We don't have no reason for run from the police. By the time police reach there, be a shot. I'm sitting right here, son. Be a shot. Youth in the front seat father around there, him come back on the front and him say, watch and then kill my son and then kill my brother. No reason, him and have a gun upon him officer. Believe me, for my brother is a broke up. He's a broke up youth. You understand? Him not do wrongs. He not do wrongs. Right? He say, what are we born and grow? We not do wrongs, father. Believe me. We not do wrongs. Nothing in kill him, man. The man didn't have a gun, the man didn't have a lead sheet, the man didn't have nothing. Just kill him and them for no reason and pass when a jeer with him and then pass when a bop with them finger. As police got kill me more than 10 somebody up on the road and the man then pass and the man then do it to everybody. See a man over there so can't see a true. Different man can't see a true, man then pass and a bop with them finger, brother. How them for do that, brother? They kill the two man them innocently, brother. They want to tell us so we can't even come down they can't see man them. We can't even go see him and they lock up him on car and take him and key gone with it. What make them lock up him on car? They kill him and them for no reason. I tell them man they are two innocent youth them. I can't swear upon my life on that. For my brother, the man not do nothing. Believe me, that man there's a help you out. There's like a thing that man can help you out in any little situation. Man just getting youth what they youth they are finding youth just migrate. He make that happen. And him did for migrate after. You understand? And the man dead left in youth right now.
So the community is shaken by this?
Community shaken. Well shaken. Well shaken. Two known youth. The man in the front seat, right the same barn and grow. Father live up there. The man in the driver's seat, our brother, right the same barn and grow. Right the same.
And your brother is not the gunman?
No gunman, no badness, none at all. Remember me tell you, no gun. The man foot broke up, the man can't even run for the badness. The man is a broke up youth. His foot broke off, one of his foot short and one. So he walk on limb, he walk well slow. See for me foot has a mash up to bite mash it up to. Bite mash up the whole away. You understand? I bite back me the I come from school, you know. Bite back me the I come from school and the rider crashing and I'm dead and I'm surviving. Life machine me the all long, you know. Me I tell him brother do no badness, I am help you out. Any little thing I am help you out, they man do badness, they man no mixing and nothing. Believe me, they man no mixing and just help out a youth. Where you're born and grow with. There's nothing to help out of you where you're born and grow. The material truck go up on your yard, you want to go pay the man. Then. So it's nothing for you to carry the man up. You understand? It's nothing. Two men then go up there and come back down. You know. Come back down because you don't pay the man. The material truck on top right and then they're in front of them. You know. The material truck. You know. They're in front of them. You know. Right I say the material truck on top. You know. Be a shot around there. You know. Nothing, you know. Man, you have nothing for them. You can't swear for my life. Nothing. I tell them. Anything we find down there, then put it on them. Because we can't go down there. And they want pepper spray my grandma, they want pepper spray my grandaunt for no reason. Just because they want to go see their little grandson. Nothing man done. Yo, believe me.
No more sunshine. Teachers struggle after 8-year-old Portland girl's mysterious death. Comfort Castle, Portland, principal of Comfort Castle Primary and Infant School, Dalmain Moore has trouble sleeping. He keeps going over his last moments with 8-year-old Vinus Sunshine Burke. But the pleasant memories of that encounter as he joked with her and other students at the Portland school are being eroded by her mysterious death hours later. The teachers are very distraught over the situation. As principal and the person who last interacted with her from the school, it has affected me terribly, to the point where I now have difficulty sleeping, he told IRI News Media TV on Tuesday during a visit to the school. He said little Vinus was among a group of children he gave a ride home on Friday after he treated them to patties left over from the school supply. Later that night, he got news he never expected or wanted to hear. Some minutes after 10, thereabout, I got a call from a parent who now resides in Antigua who said the child died. I couldn't understand. I said, "What you talking about?" "I brought that child down today and she was quite okay," Moore said as he fought back tears that threatened to spill down his face. "She was not sick. I could not understand. I really couldn't. It hit me very hard, and so I took my phone and made some calls and did some inquiries, and I found out that the child was found dead at home. I honestly don't know if I can get past this so easily, as I was the last person from the school to have interacted with the child before she died. Not only that, the gruesome nature of the death as well. I really don't know if it is an accident or if it is a case of murder," the principal added. According to IRI News Media TV sources, the child was at her house last Friday when the incident occurred. It is alleged that her stepfather said he and another man were at the front of the yard making a bed head when he saw Vinus outside without shoes. She had a plastic bag in her hand. According to the stepdad, he sent the girl back inside the house to put on her shoes. It was reported that when he did not hear from Vinus, he went to check and saw the girl lying on the floor, unresponsive. The plastic bag was over her face and there was a pool of urine near her body. He reportedly made checks inside the house but did not see anyone. He took the child to the Port Antonio hospital where she was pronounced dead about 6:30 p.m. On Monday, a special devotion was held in Vinus's memory, but a number of students were not in school because of heavy rain that caused landslides and flooding. Moore is hoping counselors from the Education Ministry, whose visit was also derailed on Monday, will be there before the end of the week. Among those who will likely benefit from their support is Vinus's teacher Kayla Moresby. On Tuesday, she was still struggling to come to grips with the child's death. "Oh no, this can't be true." Nice Morning 3-year-old's passing breaks down with news of father's death. In a heart-wrenching incident that left a tight-knit community in mourning, a father and his 3-year-old son lost their lives because of a fire that partially destroyed their family home in Portmore Gardens, St. Catherine. The grief-stricken family, already grappling with the loss of young Cleon Williams, who died instantly in the fire, was further devastated when they received news yesterday morning that his 40-year-old father Sherman Williams, who was admitted to hospital with severe burns, succumbed to his injuries. The tragic news unfolded just as Member of Parliament, MP for St. Catherine South East, Robert Miller, a close friend of the family, was visiting to offer his condolences. Miller made a call to the Spanish Town Hospital to check up on the progress of the senior Williams when he learned of his death. Breaking the news of his passing to family members who were not privy to his call was a challenge for the MP. The emotional toll was evident as Williams' niece Monique Brown, who was praying for her uncle to pull through, expressed shock and disbelief upon hearing of his death. "Oh no, this can't be true," she said as she broke down and had to be supported by Miller and Zahai Rose, the counselor/caretaker for the division, who is also a close friend of the family. Rose was making her second visit to the family home, having spent the night with them after she learned of the tragedy. Brown revealed that she shared a special bond with young Cleon, often caring for him when his father was at work, and now faces the challenge of explaining this tragedy to her own daughter. Distraught. Miller, who was visibly distraught, expressed sorrow. "For me personally, it is a very sad feeling. Sherman I know loved his son, he was father and mother to that boy, raising him from he was a baby when his mother disappeared," noted Miller. He also described him as a very hard worker who would do anything for his son. "I know the entire family both here and overseas are devastated by this tragedy," Miller added. Rose was grief-stricken. "This is a very sad moment for me. I got the call at 12:30 a.m. and I didn't hesitate. And when I got here and learned that Cleon had perished in the fire, I was speechless," Rose said, adding that her feeling of sadness was compounded by the news of Sherman's passing. The impact of the incident extends beyond the friends and family circle. Cleon Williams had recently begun attending the Faith Assembly of God Basic School, where Principal Rosemary Gooden remembered him as an outspoken and friendly child. "Heartbroken. When I got the news this morning, I was very heartbroken. He will be missed by all the staff," she IRI News Media TV. Gooden said it will be a challenge to break the news to the deceased boy's peers. She said plans will have to be put in place to provide grief counseling. Meanwhile, Superintendent Dennis Lyons, Divisional Commander for the St. Catherine Division of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, said the call came in at 11:40 p.m. and one unit from Waterford responded along with the ambulance team. He said, when the brigade arrived on the scene, fire was observed coming from a 4-apartment dwelling house and they quickly put out the fire. According to Lyons, during the cooling down exercise, the body of a young boy was found at the door along with a 40-year-old gentleman who had sustained burns. He was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital. Lyons said a team from the investigative unit will be processing the scene to determine the origin of the fire. Government puts massive hike in senators' stipend on hold. The government on Tuesday halted a 179% increase in the stipend for senators, announcing that a new basis for determining adjustments is to be finalized. The proposed increase in the stipend, which would have moved payments per sitting from $53,000 to $148,000, was outlined in a letter from the clerk to the Houses of Parliament Valerie Curtis. In a statement on Tuesday, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark said the increase will not be implemented. He said that he has directed that the letter dated September 14, 2023, be rescinded. Clark said that the correspondence from the clerk followed from a cabinet decision of 2008 that automatically indexed the stipend of the senators to the highest fee paid for service as a board director of a public body. He said immediately prior to this 2008 decision, senators were being paid $1,000 per meeting and the highest public body board fee was $6,000 per meeting. The highest board fee outlined was $74,000. According to Curtis' letter, which was addressed to President of the Senate Tom Tavares Finson. It was copied to Leader of Government Business Kamina Johnson-Smith and Leader of Opposition Business Peter Bunting. Clark said that when public body board fees were last increased in 2019, Senate stipends were automatically adjusted as per the 2008 cabinet decision, and these took effect on April 1, 2020. Meeting with senators. Shortly thereafter, as Minister of Finance and the Public Service, I met with a bipartisan group of senators to discuss this administration's view of the unsustainability of this automatic peg and the likely unintended consequences, he said. Among other things, I used the opportunity to outline the position of the administration that the Senate stipend would remain unchanged, even with further upward adjustments of board fees, while a new basis for determining Senate stipend adjustments is finalized, he added. The decision comes 4 months after the political directorate raked in huge salary increases, with compensation to members of parliament and cabinet ministers surging past 200%. The government has been hammered for months over the hike, which it said was important to incentivize performance. On Tuesday, the opposition objected to the announced increase for senators and called for a review. Bunting said their concerns surround the size of the increase, its timing, and its obvious insensitivity to the current national context. We firmly believe that such a significant increase in stipend for senators is neither justifiable nor appropriate, particularly at a time when crucial issues affecting essential public servants, such as police officers, healthcare workers, and teachers, remain unresolved, Bunting said.